Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what's poppin' with you? It's your guy Steel. Let's jump into some Wuthering Waves, man. Look, I'm newer to the content creator scene, but I wanted to really start creating some content for Wuthering Waves. Definitely check out my last few videos. We've been doing some live streams as well. So check me out on Twitch and YouTube because we're trying to get those subs and follows up at SteelRain. The T is a 7 everywhere. Just go ahead and find that information on Google if you got to. But let's jump into it, man. I wanted to make a video essentially kind of going over my free-to-play journey, right? Because it has officially ended. I talked about it last night a little bit on stream. And the main reason why my free-to-play journey has ended is I have just fallen in love with the game. This game has been everything and more that I could have asked it to be from somebody, again, I've talked about this previous, who's played multiple other gacha games, never really got into them like that. PGR, Punishing Grave Raven, which is Kuro's previous game, which is ironic enough, was the first one that really pulled me in, but it was more of that battle arena style, melee-based kind of combat. And it was cool for quite some time, but I was looking for something more on the lines what Genshin had, right? And I only got to like a adventure level 48 or so in Genshin. But the combat was just overly simplified for me, and I was really having a good time adventuring. Had some character mods that I dropped in there and everything. Had my main character looking really dope. I was playing with the dude. But nonetheless, this game is literally exactly what I've been looking for as far as an anime-esque action adventure open world style game that really prides itself on over-the-top combat and underlying system mechanics, right? Now, I also want to start off by saying I am not the guy. I just lead with this. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you what build you need to run. I'm not going to tell you how you need to run the build. I'm not going to tell you what the best characters are. I'm not going to tell you who you need to pull for, because all of that should be objective, and subjectively, there's enough content out there to kind of level things out for you so that you can have an understanding on what you're looking for in your experience or what you want to do before you jump in. But I wanted to give this kind of a baseline on the characters that I'm using, why I'm using them, how I'm using them, and go from there. Maybe this helps out some people. And this is my character build, literally, I want to call this the end to my free-to-play build, right? Now, again, I don't think the battle pass is like overly egregious or anything like that as far as what you can get in it. Let's go back to it real quick. Also wanted to do this kind of live at all parts. This isn't going to be, there's no cuts or anything that's going to be in here. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. But as you can tell, of course, it does have its benefits. Again, you get your crystal solvents, which you obtain wave plates from when you use them. I've been saving mine up. I got 11 currently. There's more that you can collect. But I've just been saving mine up. Again, recommended not to use until about Endgame. There's some pools that you can get here, like one a piece. I've been saving my pools because I want to get Yindlin, but nonetheless, I just think this is a good value, man, for what you're getting. I'm going to be grinding this game out regardless. I'm going to be involved in it for quite some time, at least a month, if not more than likely a lot longer than that, seeing how much this is pulling me in so far. 70 is the highest it goes. So there you go. Random echo item. Again, it just seems like it'll be extremely beneficial as we move down. But anyway, back to the main portion. This is my main squad. This is the squad I'm probably going to be using for everything. My #1 squad. And I'm going to be building them out. I will have 2 or 3 different squads as we run up into other things and get further into Endgame and beat the game. I haven't beat the game either. So this is I'm in Act 5 currently. So close, but not quite there, just to kind of give some perspective. The other thing too is that my build and my teams are not going to be fully built out. Again, the way that I'm approaching the game is the way that I've approached MMOs, the way that I approach Diablos, the way that I approach any game that allows you to kind of get your builds together. Like right now, you see I have Molten Rift on Calcharo. Why? I don't need it, right? I don't need it, but I like having the Infernal Rider there. I think it's also the Lizard has given me some additional things to it. And mainly because it was just an additional, no, it wasn't the Lizard actually. It's the wolf. The wolf gives me, the Sonata effect is Molten Rift, which is really weird because the main stat is electro damage bonus. So something to consider. I'm not going to level this up though, just because I know I'm going to get better things later from other people that I've seen play and watch. But let's get back into the team and why we're running the team way we are. So now I said I wasn't going to do no clipping, but hey, things happen. New to this thing. It's all good. But I wanted to make sure that I explained my team comp properly, right? So I wanted to kind of I want to come in here and tell you why I'm doing the things that I'm doing as far as the team comp goes. Now, it may not make sense to you. Again, I'm not trying to be the most optimal person in the game. I'm trying to have fun, enjoy it for what it is, and see what I can learn throughout my journey before I get super invested into, oh, this character needs to be built a specific kind of way. And if I don't do it this way, well, I'm looking for these types of things. Like, looking for those things can definitely be part of the journey later on. But I don't want it to be right now the main focus while I'm still kind of going through it as a newer player, adventurer, and just trying to truly just enjoy the game for what it is. But nonetheless, that's enough of that. So right now my team is built up of Yunshin, Yang, and Kaocharo. My main entry point when I go into any combat scenario is Yunshin. Mainly because she's just a hitter for me, man. I like her combat. But mainly because she does a good job keeping the enemies grouped in while still doing a wide range of damage, especially in the open world. Really super dope. But I start off with Yunshin because the main reason is because of her outro skill. And I feel like it's a good start for any engagement that I go into, at least. Now, there could be other characters that are better for this. I'm just going to give you the reasons why I'm doing it and what makes the most sense to me currently. Again, having played with all the characters, I chose my few that I really fell in love with, and that's the team that I've been building. And I'll have 2, 3 more so teams later on. This game's going to be out for some time. I'm loving the success. But nonetheless, her outro skills, the next character gains 38% resonance liberation damage deepen for 14 seconds or until they are switched off field. So resonance liberation damage deepen. I have no idea what this truly means, except if you go to their resonation liberation, which in her case is creating a strong wind field, continuously pulling targets in the wind field to the center and causing arrow damage. So this is going to be her main ability. So if that is the case, resonance liberation damage deepen. What I have done, part of my rotation is swapping from Yunshin to Yang. Now, arguably, because I was thinking about this as part of the reason I made the cut, arguably, I have a couple options. It's part of the reason that I do like starting with Yunshin in my rotation. I could swap the Kaocharo and use his when I get into his special, and having those abilities have that 14 seconds because I can keep him on the field for much longer, especially with how quickly I can build up his meter. I can get his regular combo off a couple times before a special comes up. Then once a special comes up, I can probably get it off another 2 or 3 times, depending on what's going on, the rotation, all that good stuff. And then swap to Yang. But it really just depends. I've been doing it more so while I swap the Yang first, mainly because her rotation takes less than 7 seconds, maybe a little bit more than that. I also have the option to keep her on the field longer. Now, the weakest thing that I have about Yang right now is that she still has a level 20 blue weapon. Haven't got a purple one yet. I've been pulling for a couple weapons to try to see if I can get a good one, a purple or a gold, but I haven't found one yet. So I just been keeping her there. I'm not going to overly invest. I am going to make sure that she stays upgraded, of course. But she's only at level 40 right now, so just something to keep in mind. But her intro skill, she's going to send them into the air, dealing arrow damage, right? And then I go into her normal Y skill, which is a resonance skill, which is her sword is going to create a whirling vortex of wind that gathers the enemies. So it's going to be doubling the effect. 1 second, baby. We're doing doubling the effect that is going to cause as far as keeping the enemies together. Some enemies like to run away. But the main key is going to the resonance liberation, right? From going to Yunshin to Yang, we need that resonance liberation damage deepened. Because Young is my weaker character, having her resonance liberation, her ultimate, be the ability that additionally carries those enemies in the air, I think is just it's been working for me as far as combat goes, and also for as far as damage scaling goes, seemingly. So if I end up keeping her in there for 7 to 14 seconds, regardless, I could probably also get her resonance liberation off, depending, maybe twice, if I'm in a good rotation. So there's a lot of things, healthy things to help with that. Then her outro is typically why I use her as the middle person. Young recovers 4 resonance energy per second over 5 seconds for the next character. So I think that's really handy for Calcharo himself, just mainly because of him jumping in and just attacking with electro damage. Because of his attack style as well, I'm able to keep the enemies in the air suspended. So especially on the smaller enemies, groups and whatnot, sometimes it does work on some of the bosses as far as just rotation goes, but they get tired and lay down. But it just follows into a really good rotation. And since he's getting that energy replenishment, I can typically get his Renaissance skill back very fast. That's what I mean by I can get his abilities off 2, 3, maybe even 4 times, depending on what my rotation is like. Go into his resonance liberation, get my attacks off there. Again, it's only for 5 seconds. By 5 seconds, I'm in my resonance liberation and I'm doing my thing there, getting my normal energy. And then I do what I do with my guy Calcharo, and then he jumps out, summoning a phantom to support the on-field resonator, which would be Junshin. Right, we go right back down to Junshin, who's going to intro skill, pulling the targets right back in. So again, we have this continuous rotation of getting characters pulled in, pulling them almost quadruple the amount of times, keeping them in place in the air, and then swapping in with Calcharo, and just finishing them off, doing them utmost damage that we can. And I think it's just led to a really successful and healthy rotation as far as combat gameplay goes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the build that I have so far. Again, as you could tell, my echoes aren't on point. I haven't done any heavy grinding or anything. My characters aren't the strongest they can be, but I've been having a blast getting to it, and that's the most important part. So with that, more Wuthering Waves content is going to be coming. Hopefully you like this one, even if there's a cut or two. And if you didn't, go tell your mom. No, I'm just joking. Don't tell your mom. Tell her to hit the like button for me. Much love. Peace. Y'all stay easy.